Say you've been mulling a decision to sell your private property unit to move to an HDB resale flat, and you've avoided doing it all this time because of the 15-month wait-out period. Well, that's not going to be an issue anymore because the government has just removed it. But the big question is, what's going to happen to the prices of HDB resale flats? Are they going to be more expensive? This is the Money Talks podcast with me, Andrea Heng. Now, for nearly 4 years, private homeowners who sold their properties had to wait 15 months before they could buy a non-subsidised HDB resale flat. This was introduced back in 2022 to bring down prices in the resale market. Remember that? Now, HDB prices have fallen for 2 straight quarters, so the government is saying, okay, it served its purpose. Time to move on. So what changes will this bring, not just to the property market, but for Singaporeans who want to right-size their homes? Time to check in on a crystal ball belonging to Ismail Gafoor, Executive Chairman of PropNex. Welcome back to Money Talks, Ismail.
Truly my pleasure, Andrea. It's always fun to have a discussion.
It's funny because the last time you sat here, we were just talking about this, right-sizing.
Exactly.
And now that this rule has been taken off the table, it's a brand new day.
Yeah.
It's a brand new situation.
Yeah.
So, I want to first ask you your observation of the government's decision to remove this rule. Why have they decided that now is the right time to remove this 15-month wait-out period? Especially since we're only looking at 2 straight quarters of decline in prices. And also, for those who don't know, what exactly is a non-subsidised HDB resale flat?
Okay, when we talk about, first and foremost, this was something coming. We knew that. Minister has already mentioned late last year and beginning of the year that they are reviewing, they are looking at it because there's been a huge demand and appeals from private property owners who wanted to right size, and they felt this policy was definitely curtail their decision to right size. But if we just take a step back, why was this policy introduced? Simply because public housing, when we talk about non-subsidized, the resale flats, in 2021, Andrea, guess at what percentage it increased?
Oh, quite a lot.
I give you a clue. What's a double digit?
10.
In a 12.7% in 2021. And that's definitely because post-COVID, a lot of people realized the current space is not the right sizing.
Yeah, it wasn't enough.
And not only that, many people were working from home and they wanted an extra room as an office plus come, and they just thought that it's time to reorganize.
Yeah. And
the demand really went up. And the property prices went up by 12.7% in 2021. And in 2022 was still in a very positive upwards, and it went up by 10.4%.
Wow.
Double-digit growth in 2 years, total 23%. Is that sustainable? Definitely not.
Yeah.
And the government realized this, how to tame the market simply because we want a sustainable growth. And one element was the private property owners, whose property prices have also fairly appreciated, had the cash money to pay the asking price, and that pushed the price of the public housing to an extent.
Yeah.
So that's why they said, hey, okay, time now, pause, a 15-month wait-out period for the private property owners who wanted to right size, to say, hold it there, if you want can, but go out of the system for 15 months. And that definitely helped because how it improved the market is immediately the following year, we are talking about public housing increasing by 4.9%.
Single digits.
Yeah.
Very digestible.
Yes, and it is also almost keeping pace with inflation and a little bit about closer towards the GDP growth and so on.
Okay.
So was that a right move? I think yes.
Okay.
Then the question that you ask here is why now we want to lift it if that is so effective?
Correct.
But we also realize the last 3 quarters, public housing, the last quarter of last year, because it is not only these 2 quarters that was negative.
Yeah.
The last quarter, that means for the last 9 months, almost coming to a year, another quarter, It was zero growth on the last quarter of 2025. And that's not a good news because there are a lot of young couples who buy the resale flat and people who wants to monetize or right size, the elder people who are staying in HDB. And if the price goes to a slide, that's not a good news either. So what is the government trying to do, in my view? A balanced approach.
Okay.
Prices should not go double digit, neither should it be negative. Yep. And that's how it all started with this. And we expected that when the last 3 quarters there wasn't any growth.
So when the rule was first introduced in 2022, you explained very clearly what the mechanism was, how it worked. But was it the only thing that brought the prices of HDB resale flats down?
No, I don't think so. There was a multiple combination.
Surely,
because I think the private property right sizing people only contributed one portion of it. But the truth, why the property prices went up so high, it has always got to do with demand, right? When the demand outstrips supply, prices goes up. There's a very simple logic. And that's where the government at the same period of time also increased the number of BTO flats.
So the supply was keeping up.
Supply was keeping up.
Okay.
So basically, as far as a young couple is going in, not only that, they also got other policies, greater priority for the first-timers so that they get a better chances of getting it, increase the grant and whatever it is, those people who want to buy a resale flat. So there are multiple areas where the government put into place such that to moderate the price, and it was really effective because HDB prices last year only went up by 2.9%. And that's very reasonable.
Yeah, it is very reasonable. Okay, so back to our topic on this 15-month wait-out period no longer being on the table. Now, based on your data, do we have an estimate of how many households actually delayed their their purchase of an HDB resale flat because of this wait-out period?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we really don't have such numbers, but I think I can only take some indications from ministers highlighting it in Parliament late last year. It was also highlighted in the media. There were about 1,800 appeals annually ever since that this policy came into play of a 15-month wait-out period. And they also highlighted about 25% of the appeal were granted on case-to-case basis, which means to say out of the 1,800, 25% is 450 crossed through. There are 1,350 got a rejection to say, no, you still have to wait out. Yeah. But this is only those people who appeal. How about the other group of people who just bite the bullet and sold and say, okay, wait out. I will go and stay with my children. Or I got another home. I will just find a solution. Yes. There's another group of people, because of this deterred, they said, I don't even want to consider now. So, therefore, from the appeal alone got 1,350 who was rejected, and the appeal is 1,800. I think the numbers could be anything plus minus 5,000 people who will be ready to enter the market.
Per year, right?
But I'm just putting in a very bold gut feel, but nobody knows the number.
Sure. And I mean, that would be quite substantial as well, because a lot of these people tend to be of almost retirement age or retiring age, and they want to, like you said, live out the rest of their lives in that final home with cash unlocked for them to enjoy that retirement, right? Okay, so if potentially thousands of former private homeowners suddenly become eligible to buy HDB resale flats, will the prices rise again?
That's $1 million question.
It is.
With the $1 million HDB properties transacting.
Here's the
right
thing, the latest data is showing that there are more $1 million HDB flats, resale.
Yeah, but that's expected and nothing to be alarmed. Honestly, I can give a complete assurance to all the listeners out there. Take it in a holistic approach. These are very positive news. First and foremost, Andrea, I don't expect it to have a sudden surge in the prices. Some of the things that we are experiencing right now today here is this. A public housing takes 3, 4 to 6 months to find a buyer today.
That's true.
That's why the prices has slide.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are caught in this situation. Don't talk about private property owners who are trying to right size.
This is just the general
This
buying
is
population.
general, a HDB owner trying to right size.
That's true.
Or even to upgrade to an executive condominium and to move on. They find it huge difficulties to dispose of the existing property.
That's true, yeah.
Yep. So that's the first point that I would like to highlight.
Okay.
And overall, when I look at it, post-COVID in 2021, per quarter, we have about average 7,500 HDB resale flats. Then we are talking about 30,000 homes sold in a year. But if you look at these first 2 quarters and last year, the numbers are about 6,005 last year, which translate to a drop in demand by 5,000 units annually. So we are talking about a demand that used to be 28, 29, 30,000. Today we are looking at 23, 24, 25,000. So there has been a drop in demand. That's why people are taking it more difficult to sell the property. Property prices were all starting to go down for almost the last 2 quarters. I think it will just balance off.
But typically, what kinds of units do these private property homeowners tend to go for? Are they only the EMs, your maisonettes, your executive apartments, your 5-room flats, or are they also considering things like the older 4-room flats that were from the 80s and 90s?
I think generally it depending on each to their own requirements.
Sure.
Some of them are also right-sizing to go closer towards their children because now they want to spend a little bit more time with the grandchildren and so on. And there are others who think that, hey, fine, I think I want to unlock it. I am retired. I want to have more cash with me. And therefore, and here, they are not competing with the resale market, the entry level first-timer. And they are prepared to pay a little premium. They may even shift to a more central location or they want a sea view on something because they think that, hey, if I'm 50, 60 and my lifespan is 85, 90, I'm okay even with a property where the lease is not a full 99.
So a decaying lease.
Yeah, it's fine. Because, for example, if they can sell in a private property and unlock $2 million, and plus the CPF, everything maybe $2.5 million, they say, I'm fine to buy 1.2, 1.3 million and I pay full cash and CPF, whatever it is. I still have got $1 million over dollars right through my later years with dignity.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So by that virtue, would it then mean that, you know, the BTO, first-timer, young couple types, young family types will have a larger piece of the pie of resale flats that don't have the decaying lease?
Okay, so I think for sure the younger the generations will always think of long term because they want to buy a property in the resale market that has got a balance 70, 80 years of
and
lease.
it's a smarter thing to do also.
Because they are young to start with, right? And they also want to maybe do another 1 or 2 more round of upgrading for themselves. You see, put it this way, Andrea. The whole objective of this lifting this 15-month ban is because we want a sustainable growth. I don't think that we need to be overly worried.
Okay.
If it is going to be a double digit next year, is it so difficult to government to say now it's 15 months instead and
put it back on?
And it has happened as far as the stamp duties and sellers duties because right now I see these are levers that the government can use at any time to moderate a sustainable growth.
Okay. So we talked about buyers in the resale market for HDB flats. Do you think we'll end up seeing more resale private property units being listed as a result now that it's easier, right? Basically, I don't have to wait 15 months anymore. I can straight away enter the market. So while these HDB flats are being snapped up by them, will we see more of their private units being sold and more listings basically?
Yeah, I think overall I look at it as a greater mobility as far as people's desires are concerned. And there are also a huge number of younger Singaporean. We are not talking about younger who are just buying the first time resale flat. How about upgraders, those who have an HDB property, a BTO, and they have fulfilled the MOP and they've waited for 4 years for its construction. For the 9 years they've been from the time, and assuming they entered the market at 30, now is their 40s and they are in some high or relatively in good economic wage earners, and they want to upgrade for the lifestyle.
Fair
So
enough.
they have only two choices: new launch or a resale.
Yeah.
And the price point difference between a new launch and a resale is anywhere 30 to 40% cheaper.
Wow.
Okay. And any of these couples who wants to upgrade to a private property for new launch, it poses another challenge.
Right.
Because the completion take another 3 years. Where do they stay?
Yes.
Right? A resale is immediate. Therefore, I think, which again means to say a greater supply in the resale private property, Andrea, will put a check on the private property price increment as well.
That's true.
There will be more supply, means there are first more choices as part of the mobility.
Yeah.
But again, it put a check on the price. So it
Yes.
is a win-win in my view. While the public housing, which has gone on a negative growth, get an uplift, while the private property are put on a check to say we have enough supply, then just be moderated.
Yes, that's true. And we have been seeing skyrocketing prices in the private property sector, especially with new launches as well, being snapped up really quickly in recent years. Just out of curiosity, do you think we'll see more of these resale private units being condos, landed property? I mean, is there such a thing? Can we approach it that way?
I think it is likely to be more like to be in a condo.
Okay.
And I'm not ruling it out for a landed property as well. But when I look at the landed property, and if they had lived in a landed property environment, and even if they can dispose it at 6 million, 7 million, they have the options of entering a private property apartment at any time. So unlikely, even if at all, a small percentage of them will enter the HDB market.
Okay.
And they will be absorbed among the private. So you see, therefore, the demand of the private condominiums, when they rise us, we also have the other group of private property landed owners demand as well.
Yes.
So it is an entire ecosystem.
It really is, yeah.
That will start triggering some movement. But I'm absolutely certain, Andrea, the government will put an eagle eye, especially every time there's a policy calibration to see the outcome in the next couple of quarters, and we are in good hands.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's a very nice way of looking at the dynamics of this whole thing, right? Okay, so now that the 15-month wait-out period is gone, there are other things that have not changed. So things like the 30-month wait-out period to buy subsidised housing. There's this requirement to sell your private property. You got to dispose it within 6 months. These are the things that have not changed, right? Help us understand that.
I think, Andre, there are many things have not changed. Many things. A laundry list of the overall, if you look at the cooling measures, the 15-month was just a small component in the public housing. People who are entering, whether it is in a private property or if it is talking about ABSD, which is additional buyer stamp duty, those people who are buying a second or third property, or seller stamp duty, or TDSR, which is the total debt servicing ratio, the way you compute before you qualify for a loan, or LTV, which is loan to value. So every aspect of the measures are all intact.
Okay.
So this small calibrated tweak is not going to have a tsunami of changes and excitement. But as I say, it's a very targeted approach to help this group of growing population of private property owners. And they have waited a good 4 years, as you rightfully put it at the start, how long you want to just curtail them from moving on. So a lot of things are in place. Therefore, I think as far as even the public housings are concerned, as you again said, that whether it is a 30 months wait-out period for people who are just wanting to apply for another subsidized flat and so on. So I think everything goes as normal.
Yeah. Okay. So if someone has been considering right-sizing this year, what are 3 things they should evaluate before deciding whether to make a move?
I think not only just because of this change for it is evergreen guidance, I would say.
Sure.
Number one, be very clear on the purpose why you still want to do that. Okay. Number 2, whatever you do, you must always do it within your means. Don't overstretch just because it is all happening. Don't get hyped up. Don't get excited, because you must have a good sleep at the end of the day. You cannot be pushing yourself against the wall just to pay the mortgages and things within their means. And third thing here is this, and it is a collective decision, especially if you're a married couple and so on. And you must also know, each of you, what the economy and your work requirements can be affected.
Yeah.
I mean, if as in a family, if you want to have additional children or babies or whatever it is, or if you think the AI disruptions, your job is a bit shaky or
Yeah.
whatever it is, or do you think that, hey, my life is, I'm happy? So there's a lot of things that it should be collective couple discussion. It is not somebody should just drive the thing and then you enter into the market and you're not happy.
Yeah. So the objective, do it within your means and check in with your stakeholders when they're making this decision. Know your purpose. I think that being very clear with what your objective is the key to all of this, and making sure that you take the right steps and make the right decision. Thanks very much, as always, Ismail, for walking us through this.
Truly my pleasure. And I think it is so interesting that we have this podcast right today. It's all very hot. I think almost everywhere when I go, people are asking about how it's going to impact the market. I said I think it's good news for all Singaporeans, in my view, because of I look at it from the mobility perspective, not only from a private property owners being able to right size, from a HDB owners who wants to upgrade from a private property, they have got a better supply of the resale market, and I think it's plus for everyone.
Yeah, I will add to that and call this an M&M situation, mobility and moderation, the themes of our conversation that we just had today. Thanks very much for tuning in to the Money Talks community. As always, I want to hear from you what you think. This is a really hot topic, just like Ismail said, so I want to hear your thoughts now. So if you are a private homeowner, if you know someone who is a private homeowner, has the removal of this 15-month wait-out period been something to celebrate for them? And would you consider now right-sizing to an HDB resale flat? Are you going to take the challenge? Are you going to pull the plug and make that move? Let me know in the comment section wherever you're listening to us from. You can also email us directly at cnepodcasts@mediacorp.com.sg. This has been a Money Talks podcast with me, Andrea Heng.